So it's the beginning of summer, and basically it's been like hours, it's been like months since we haven't have a official like release date for Future Saga Chapter 4. Now, if you guys don't know, Future Saga Chapter 4 will be the final DLC for Xenoverse 2, and I'm very much excited for this DLC when it gets released. Like, I want to see what Future Saga 4 left off from Future Saga Chapter 3, where went off. Well, in that trailer, we might see Trunks say that a part of history might be gone, and we had to protect it all. Which I was pretty much hyped when I see that, but it's just basically when I basically like probably just say that for the West, probably for the best, but it's just what I basically what you might said, along with some basically of the Supreme kind of time going ultra super villain, and and then we end the final shot of the trailer showing Goku going ultra instinct, but instead of going to the regular ultra instinct, it's mixed between ultra superhero. Now we never get to see what the full transformation of that is, but I think that it might be he have a green crystal on his chest. As when the villains go ultra super villain, they have like a dark purple or pink crystal on their chests, and basically recognize they are villains that got corrupted by the crystal. And basically, he might think that the ultra super ultra superhero are the ones with the green ink chests with the green crystal on their chest that refers to them of the heroes attaining that power because they attain that power or after they adapted to that power. Now, obviously, I'm really excited if this transformation becomes exclusive to CAX, along with some speculated new transformations that we might end up seeing. But I pretty much really hope that we might get some more get some new transformations for this game. Transformations because some people are speculating that Super Saiyan 4 might be rumored to be the transformation, but ancient. But I have one because but I have some major question. Will that be a separate skill for Saiyans, or just be a fourth or transformation where you after you go Super Saiyan 3? Well, I know there was a lot of mods made by Xenoverse 2 modders out there. No, I'm not talking about the ones that use save wizards for mods. Us were the ones with the modded saves. I'm talking about the ones that basically mod the game for aim offline, and with a same looking mods for basically what people are expecting for like other kind of stuff like that. It makes a lot like explanatory stuff like that, and to explain that all about that, it just makes it very kind of it cool because like I really could expect if we might get that a cool transformation of that. But some people also speculate that might we get the orange form for like the Beckians or like any stuff at all. But I and like that we might and also I know that people speculate that we might get they say them what that we get like one exclusive character, even though that's basically pretty much a lie, but because we might get Ultra Super Villain Supreme Kai Time, Ultra Superhero Goku, Ultra Super and Ultra Super Villain Few. Which that people are speculating because we see few adapted to the ultra super villain form, and I really hope what we see with the concept. But also, I really wish I predict what his design might be. His design might be his hair sticking all the way up, with my means of the Super Saiyan, with their hair, where their hairs are sticking all the way up, or with the lightning going on here. That's what reminds me of the classic Super Saiyan and vibes to it. Reminds me of when Fugo goes to his super form, or where you go like Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Oh, that's a kind of bit of stuff that I actually recognize at the time. But obviously, if they go out to that, because sometimes since there's one major thing I want to say about that. With Xenoverse 2, when Xenoverse 1 and 2 were basically released, is they cannot use what cannot reference or use what from Dragon Ball Heroes' material. Well, they did, and they announced Mira, Toa, and Few, but those are just three examples of those characters that are basically for that based on the superhero the Dragon Ball Heroes material. But I also forgot to say the Supreme kind of time and trucks us there, but you know what I mean. But with all the other, but with all this of the now back to get on topic. Like, the one thing I wanted to talk about here is the peop ever since that summer came around, many people were expected in Xenoverse Bandai to release a second trailer that includes a release date and more characters that we see the characters, which include gameplay of the characters that we're about to get, just like Future Saga Chapter 3, E, and it just pretty much sets my example of what that sometimes Bandai has since it might not get things right or basically anything of that, but it's Bandai Namco. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but we just cannot just like harass them or hate them or something, but let's just try to see what they're cooking on. So anyways, ever since then, we they have went completely silent on the DLC. We eh, when even though with the ever since the trade first June trade first, we were expecting something from Xenoverse 2. Ooh, we didn't get one. So instead we got Xenoverse 3, which I pretty much like I said, I'm very much us happy that we got like the trailer for our Xenoverse 3 where we see one of the creatable character one of the returning races we're making it a return. Since Xenoverse 3 is kind of it like a reboot instead of being like a so-called sequel or something. But obviously what I'm had to what trying to say here is that some people read the axe just and try to like say when the where the hell's the release date? Now before the other side, it some people are very impatient because they want to like wanting the DLC to get released pretty much like sooner or pretty much months. But some people are even making like speculations of what the release date might be. Now, I wanted to say that there might be some like speculations of like some people say July, a August, or some people say September. But since September might be the end of summer, because apparently early only if they will release the DLC in September, that means I got get a lot of people very pissed, and basically get up to the same hate train and what the people who are basically talking trash about Xenoverse 3. And it just I really hope that I really hope that the people don't do the exact same thing when the deals when Future Saga Chapter 4 gets released, because that will probably get a very bad send off for Xenoverse 2's final DLC. But in my exclusionary detail on that, there is only one major thing about what then. If this DLC gets released somewhere in June, then people might end up getting a release date for the game's release. Now, obviously, we may not want, because some people say that we might not, we don't expect Bandai to like get something like random, because sometimes they usually like to release something that is exclusively random, which just begs the question. So it could be by two things. One, it could be released in the 1st of July. It could be released in August. Or it could be a probably release in some major event like or any other events about it. But to be honest, but some people when people are thinking about when the DLC basically it gets released, they kind of when we went to like to the game Summer Game Fest, when people are basically speculating that Future Saga Chapter 3, Future Saga Chapter 4 and Sparkly Zero and Xenoverse 3 have their gameplay trailers, and they were got a hype. But unfortunately, e- we did. Some people were not happy because that's because us they were not in there because apparently yeah were there. And also, I was watching the live streams of them showing those games, which that was kind of true, and I could say it was kind of a mid in my opinion because even though that it was, and also when they were showing the games in the Summer Game Fest, Jack DBS Hype made a post on Twitter where he shows a basically a image of Xenoverse Street's logo oh, on Summer Games Fest's window, which is obviously he's saying one thing. If they're promoting some games and sometimes basically and their other and basically in while they're promoting the games in the Summer Games Fest, then why did it not? Why and why would we say this? Why the hell did it did not show it in the show the trailer or in Xenoverse and while they actually show it while the Summer Game Fest was still going on? Like obviously, it's kind of a bit of a decision that Bandai's like my advertisement. It's kind of a bit trash because apparently that their advertisements are probably why the reasons why there was probably it. We don't know who's responsible for those advertisements for Bandai Namco, but it's obviously just like a different story. But anyways, is back to this. Like, if the DLC gets released in August, that might expect a question. But if the DLC gets released in September, which I always said before, that will usually cause some major backlash between not only in the Xenoverse community, but in different communities as well. But obviously, there was also one major thing that got me to make this video. Some people say that, and when they, if I basically, I I began looking at basically the placeholder for the Nintendo Switch version and for or basically some placeholders in Xenoverse versus its games on basically whether it's on the Steam or basically the Nintendo Switch version and whatever which console you got. Some people are actually no, or such there might be some secret hints that the DLC might be getting a release date might be getting confirmed, which may not be confirmed in my opinion. So that says July to September of 2026. Now, in my opinion, which some people might be saying that at why we say this, we might end up seeing a teaser for DLC for the DLC, and while in July we will get some trailers for DLC for the Future Saga Chapter 4, or some showing some characters and showing some characters that are gameplay. Then when we get to September, it might end up getting released. But however, that was also just a speculation I made because if this either happens, it could probably mean that I might be proven wrong. But there was also one thing that people ended up getting their release date speculations wrong. One, some people might think that Future Saga Chapter 4 might get released in September of September 30th, 2026. Now, let me say this. Basically, that's not the actual official release date. because apparently when people saw the release date, they said that's release date confirmed. Well, even though in reality that's just a placeholder that they put over there, which means that it's not a confirmed release date. But if they do release it, in that day, I will be very upset because apparently we had to be waiting until the end of summer, which they did really say in a trailer that the DLC will be released this summer. But er er, but if they really say that it might be released is at the end of summer, that will make people very mad. And just in the top of the wall to end this situation, that I mean, and to prefer, and to conclude this is basically this video. I'll probably want us to say that I think that that Future Saga Chapter 4 might get released in July, which I could and why I had to say that is basically is simple. When people think that the DLC might get released somewhere in June, if people were, even though that people were wanting to wait and simply wait till like the 21st of June, which is the beginning of summer, and they wait for like exact moments of some sorts, it makes a lot of sense about why people makes like other stuff. For example, it could not mean like any some more possibilities that Namco will listen to the fans' requests and will basically release the DLC anyway. But that is something what fans want if they listen to like that's what that companies do if they listen to fan backlash or community backlash if people say. But overall, I really hope that this DLC might get released in July. And I don't know which date it might be, but I really hope I really hoping to see see that we might not get not just one more than one character, just such characters like Ultra Superhero Goku, Ultra Supervillain Konoha, Ultra Supervillain Feud, and include some other characters that we ever seen. But anyways, that's gonna be it. That's all I gotta say in this video. So what you guys think? Ink, ink, ink. When, what is your prediction? When this release date might be? E, Let me know in the comments below to see how you feel about this. And as always, that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. As always, this is Tomas Mathis signing off. I'll see you guys later. Farewell, my fellow time patrollers.